Welcome back, everyone. It's Stray Faye here with another episode of Cafe Enchante. In the last episode, Kotone and the gang took a little field trip to another world. No big deal. We went to the fairy world Medio. A little bit of drama because she got spat out somewhere else in the world. But eventually they were reunited, and we got to learn a lot more about Canis and Canis's world, which is rather sweet. Got a little sweet, I think they call it like a CG. Got a sweet CG between Kotone and Canis. And I'm guessing that we're back now, because everything's peaceful. And we have our usual sky that we come to. Alright, so now let's start chapter 5. As rays of morning light urge me awake, small birds sing out on the wire. It was a morning a few days after our visit to Fairy World Medio. I moved to start the day of cleaning. I was in the middle of wiping the tables. Phew, that should do it. I should be just in time for opening at this rate. Cafes truly are so busy in the mornings, but I was getting into the swing of it. Checking all the expiration dates on the food and storage, the morning opening. Gathering all the trash from the day before and rushing out to throw it all away. And on weekdays, receiving deliveries from vendors. When you think about what needs to be done to open shop, you begin to wake earlier. Girl, you need some, part-time help or something. Need some employees. Like a one-man. Just running this whole thing on her own. It was a huge difference from living at home, where I'd always sleep to the last minute. I guess that means she's enjoying herself, though, if she's, eager to wake up and start the day. Still, even though I make everything look nice, it's not like any new customers will come by. Dropping my shoulders with a listless smile, I wring my towel and kept cleaning. Well, that's not important anyway. Okay, once I'm done here, I need to clean the storefront and water the plants. Since Canis has those flowers he'd been growing in the backyard garden, I wonder if decorating with those would be fun. I cleaned for another 5 minutes or so. I finished polishing the tables, enough to pat myself on the back for it. So shiny. With some time to spare, I continue my cleaning frenzy into the far room. Oh, I'm gonna clean the door room. It wasn't used very much, but that's no excuse to be lazy about cleaning it. It still needed to be done. I mean, here is the other entrance to Enchante. It hasn't ceased to amaze me. The scene I saw only a week before was all still burned into my vision. Yggdrasil, literally a giant tree that covered an entire world. This is the first time we get to see it not at night. Get to see all the buildings. A very, very fairy-esque, almost elvish looking world. A world that quickly waltzed through the 4 seasons. A world of fairies. Also, I kind of noticed the fairies, they kind of remind me of sugar plum fairies, just based off their color scheme. Kind of remind me of the Nutcracker. They also look like they could possibly be a dessert. And also the fairy queen Titania and Veneer, who serves at her side. I thought wait, was her name Veneer or Venia? No, well. We met a lot of characters. Thinking back to that day we walked across that world, my hand slowly comes to my chest. The homes of everyone here. Worlds of fairies, demons, beasts, and the heavens. Beyond this door, there's so many worlds to see. I want to go to them. Do you really want to go to all of them? Honestly, I could feel the desire within me. You're much braver than Grandpa, I guess. I don't know. Going to a world where like you can't breathe, like the demon, like the demon world. They said it has like a miasma. I don't know. Doesn't sound like a good time. Going to the fairy world and taking just a glimpse at all its wondrous sights probably triggered this feeling. The charm of another world, with things unbelievable in my normal life, was pounding at my chest. Oh no. She's gotten the wanderlust. She gotten a taste. Now she wants to keep going. Unseen worlds. Unseen sights. And the people I've yet to meet. By making new acquaintances one after another. And if those people would come to Enchante, I'm sure that would be a marvelous thing. Place for someone to be, huh? This place I already called my own, Enchante. If this cafe could be a place, like, for them, for Miser and everyone else, I'd be happy if it could be for the others too. And for that to happen, yeah, I gotta do my best. First, I have to be an amazing owner, one step at a time. Urging myself onward, I turned away from the gate and began walking away. Oh, no. No. We're not doing that little crackly thing. Step away from the door. Feeling like I heard something, I turned back and listened carefully. But I didn't hear any noise after that. And instead... Oh, hi! Are you starting a greeting service today? Miser, kinda interesting that you popped up after hearing that. It kinda reminds me of the nightmare that we had, like, very early on. I don't know. Miser, who just happened to arrive, gave a pleasant smile. Oh, welcome! I guess I just imagined that. It was really a peculiar sound, though. So, my adorable little owner, there isn't much more time until the cafe opens, but are you okay? You're right! That's right, I didn't have time to just stand there. I tied up my apron and I walked off, pumping myself up. Alright, I'll do my best today too. Gotta get to 5 figures in sales. Wait, fine. I guess this is the yen we're talking about here. It's been 4, 5, about a week since we all went to Medio, hasn't it? Yes, but it doesn't feel like that much time has really passed. I can still remember everything that happened there so clearly. How the seasons changed and... Yes, it was quite splendid. I uploaded it onto social media to see what would happen. The views went simply crazy. You posted it? What an alternate world looked like? Come on, Kotone. They probably thought it was just like CGI or something. Oh, that's what happened. I was wondering why Rindo was yelling at you after we got back. Oh, just how badly has our angel been poisoned by the human world? A simple black coffee, carbonated until bubbly with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. Wait, what? Coffee float. A menu item with ice cream floating on coffee. For fan of sweets, the bitter coffee and the sweet ice cream is a perfect match. That actually sounds good. And I haven't had a coffee float before. I had root beer floats, which is just like extra sweet, but... The three of them talked amongst themselves while taking sips of their drinks. Seems like they were still excited about visiting a non-human world as if it was their first time. Well, still, I haven't been to another world in a while. Felt like coming here for the first time. You know, seeing the faces of all you jerks doesn't exactly give me the urge to go check out where y'all grew up. The time came when I normally want to close the morning menu. Regulars were talking with excitement about Medio throughout the morning. I can understand how ill feels. It was definitely a sight you want to share with other people. Exactly. I just did what a normal human would do. Therefore, I am completely innocent. You did it for the gram. Well, Well, we're probably okay there. It's not like he captioned it saying it was another world. So, Kotone, what did you think about going to another world? Miser blindsided me with this question. Il and Ignis both turned their faces towards me, waiting for my reply, and a silence falls over the cafe. Let me think. Of course, I even doubted their entire existence at first. Then it was scary. But coming back here after visiting one, if I were to put it into a single word, I think it was fun. Traveling to an alternate world, what I saw and touched, what I heard and felt, I would have never come across those things if I continued my old lifestyle. So if possible, I would want to tell the old me, who thought my old work was the only life I could possibly have. Maybe you don't have to go to another world, but there are just so many things you could change if you just lift up your head. I let out my feelings after thinking it over thoroughly. And I'm Enchante's new owner now. This time we only went to Canis' world, but being able to learn a bit more about everyone like this makes me happy. Miser gently smiles as I answered him. Yeah, I understand. I'm just glad that the experience for you was a positive one. And aren't you both happy too, that our current owner is trying to take an interest in us? Ignis looks a bit off to the side as Il smiles as he usually does. Well, you know, it just means she's gotten closer to what Enchante's owner should be, right? Yes. This is yet another step towards a bond of love. It is indeed important to know about each other. Need some more water. I looked on as everyone chattered away, happily, my face loosening into a smile. This is really nice. Felt like this sight has become natural to see for me. Although unfortunately, Canis and Mr. Rindo weren't there. But even with demons, angels, or humans, everyone gathered here in peace. Carrying over more coffee, I joined from time to time in conversation. I'm sure that this is what Enchante was really supposed to look like. Why is that word on the one text box for that? I'm sure it was what Grandpa saw that made him smile. Grandpa. I'm sure he wanted to see this sight forever and ever. A bit saddened by the thought, I closed my eyes. Just then, what disturbed the silence was the sound of the doorbell from the rear entrance. Oh, welcome! Hey, Rindo. We were just talking about that headless suit of armor's... Wait, who dis? Huh? Why are they introducing a new character now? A new boy. I'm guessing that's a boy. Headless suit of armor. Huh? As everyone turned around, the clamorous activity came to a sudden halt. Everyone turned their gaze. These days, the only regulars that would come would be using the rear entrance would be Mr. Rindo. Or so I thought. Wait, the rear entrance? Are you talking about the front entrance? Like, the human entrance? I thought the rear entrance was like the one where the door is. Or is this like a side entrance? Like the alley entrance? But standing there wasn't the usual Mr. Rindo that we all knew. It was a much younger boy. Who are you? Who? Well, a customer, I hope. This place is open, right? There's a sign up in the front. Of course! Welcome! My heart was just jumping around so much that I almost forgot to show him a seat. Glancing at me, the boy sits at the counter and opens a menu. Okay then, hit me with this iced coffee. Medium. Oh, please let me know if you have any preferences to how it's brewed. I'm not savvy with that. Your pick. Understood. Please just wait a moment. Oh god, a new customer! I, of course, was warned that this would be possible. It's true that delivery trucks and public service people can get to the cafe. What's up? Oh, nothing. It's nothing. My behavior came out as nothing else but awkward to this unforeseen circumstance. Meanwhile, I looked over to see if Miser and the others were just as taken aback as I was. Well, yeah, I should have guessed as much. Ignis just there in the corner, looks like he's about to beat up that boy. There's our smiling demon lord and our relaxed fallen angel, as normal as can be. Ignis seemed like the only one who was a bit nervous, just like me. Seems like he was glancing at the new customer back time to time. Do you think he just happened to arrive? This would be the first time in years. Last time was... Oh yeah, that's right. That girl talking about the 4 lords. Seriously though, I shouldn't be one to talk. Enchante's barrier's got a lot of holes in it, huh? You really just gonna laugh it off? Hey, if he's just a normal customer, he'll go home soon. If we just leave him be. The fact that my regulars talk just like normal without lowering their voices at all filled me with fear. Fortunately, he was fiddling with his phone that he didn't seem to notice the conversation between the regulars. Although... he's staring at me really, really hard. When I think about it, I'd always been preparing just to get the cafe open that I had no idea how to do customer service. Yeah, this isn't your friend now. Now you gotta put on your customer service smile for a random person. Anyway, I just have to not be rude. Be quick and service with a smile. Hey, here's your iced coffee. Thanks. I was complimenting myself on the inside for not spilling anything. I finally realized that was just how nervous I was. So, when a new customer comes in and sits at the counter, am I supposed to talk with him? No, but it's possible that they'd feel like I'm just bothering them. Erg. With my hands open, I went to wash some dishes, and while I was frowning at myself, I let out a small groan. Hey, can I sit here? Huh? Before I knew it, our demon lord sat in the seat right next to the boy. Huh? Well, sure. Thanks! Hey owner, can I get a blended coffee? Okay, I'll bring it out right away. What is Miser doing? I just hope he doesn't say anything weird. And right as I think that... So, you're the type that just looks like a human, but actually aren't, right? Huh? The young boy's confusion spills out. What? I mean, he has a white hair, so I'm assuming he's not just normal boy, but what made that seem 100 times more intense was probably my own feelings. I mean, I guess if you're doing anime logic, like, human can have any color hair they want, but still. Ignis seemed to share my sentiment. His gasping and coughing made it all the way here to the counter from his seat. Hey, Miser? I tried to cut him off, but Miser gave me a quick wink to suggest he had it all under control. Hey, mister. I know you already looked the part, but Are you crazy on the inside too? Well, if you're asking me if I'm crazy or not, I'm super crazy. I'm a demon lord after all. But I get the hunch that you're plenty crazy yourself, wouldn't you agree? The temperature just dropped, didn't it? Did the air conditioner turn on? Huh? The air conditioner isn't... Whoa, what the hell? My feet are freezing! What's happening? Il and Ignis seem to be making a fuss. But for now, I should stop the water I was running and go over and listen to what Miser's talking about. But I was taken aback by my realization. The water is stopped, or actually... Wait, what? What's going on? The entire faucet is just frozen. Uh-oh. I see. Could you be... That moment. The small boy slapped a 1,000-yen bill onto the counter and ran out of the cafe. Huh? Thank you, but what about your change? Oh man, I was hoping to get along as a fellow non-human. Stretching out the wrinkled bill, Miser rests his chin on his hands. A non-human? When that does happen, and we have others here, it might be useful for you to have these permits, as well as general barista knowledge. But what are those requirements? Well, I can explain that some other time. For now, you, Soan, and those GPM agents were all able to visit the cafe, correct? That's right. After we reopened, Miser explained to me more about how other customers could get into the cafe through... Wait, what? Oh. Through the barrier. And that was... 1. Just by knowing of Enchante's existence, its name, address, and heading to it. I mean, that's how I get here. I just use a map app. That's how deliveries and other services can get here too. 2, that you're a non-human with powers that outdo even Miser's and Ill's own. Seems like that boy just happened to come in. I think the first condition wouldn't apply here. So then, I had no idea just by looking at him. The second option seemed like the one. So he was another non-human? He was one too? Yeah. The drinks around here and the water piping. Maybe unintentional, but it was him. Miser picks up the iced coffee that was completely frozen solid and flips it over upside down. I had this feeling there was something bugging him the moment he entered the cafe. And I guess right, more or less. Although I still had questions toward Miser's vague explanation, the first thing I needed to point out was... You acted like you wanted to be friendly, but it didn't look that way at all. A Demon Lord can't come up and start messing with a kid who looks like he's in school. I decided to caution Miser in his overly aggressive attitude to interaction. Huh? Did I seem that bad? I had my most kind and happy, friendly smile on. Right, and you didn't just tell him that he wasn't a human and that you wanted to rip off his skin. I must agree. Really? I didn't mean to come off like that. I'm a bit shocked at myself. That said, the curtain closed on the panic, brought by the sudden visitor, ending with the visitor leaving on his own. I guess he didn't expect to be outed? Was this just all on accident? Like, why did he come in? Did he just, really just want a drink? Yeah, okay. Don't worry so much, Mom. It's okay. I'm doing alright here. I feel like this is worth much more than the work I was doing before. And Grandpa's friends are helping me out. And the customers that come here are good people? Question mark? Huh? Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, I'll come by when things settle down. I'm working now, so I'll call you later, Whew. Sorry for the wait. It was just after 5 in the afternoon. Around this time, when the setting sun's rays came through the cafe, all the regulars are about doing their own thing. I droop my head, with Canis and Mr. Rindo sitting at the counter, and get back to work.
No, it's no problem. You were talking about your family, right?
Yeah, it's been about 4 months since leaving home. Oh, it's been a while, girl. Just a call to check if I'm doing okay over here. An only child living by herself. I'm sure your parents would be worried if they knew about the non-humans, right? Well, for now I'd just avoid it. But I feel I'll need to tell them the truth at some point. Did Grandpa ever tell the truth? I'm sure my mom and dad would make a fuss. I think it's okay if I leave it for now. Well, even if you consider this a normal cafe job, there are guys living here, renting rooms. You'd want to hide that part too.
Why is that? I do not believe we ever caused much of an issue when we spent the night here at Enchante.
The armor-clad knight disputes the point, shaking the head he didn't have side to side. Looking away from where I thought his face would be, I mutter quietly. You know, I'm sure no one's really conscious about it, but I am a girl. And Canis and you are all men.
And that means...
That means, you know, it'd be easy for my folks to misunderstand. Are we gonna teach Canis about the birds and the bees? Because I don't think he has birds and bees where he come from. I think they probably just like pop into existence. I don't know. Just confusion, visible confusion, or invisible confusion. Mr. Rindo, stop laughing and help me. I think it's very Canis of him to not really understand. In any case, we end our conversation. I take their orders. Okay, Canis. You wanted a fruit smoothie and Mr. Rindo an Americano. American, short for American coffee. Made by running plenty of hot water through lightly roasted beans, giving it a refreshing taste. Your Americano might take a bit more time, is that okay? Of course. It's not like there are any customers right now anyway. Thank you very much. Oh, that's right. Speaking of customers. Suddenly coming to mind, I began to speak while heating some water. This happened yesterday, but...
A customer aside from us came in?
Right, I was like, oh no, and panicked. The two men were both out yesterday, so it was a good opportunity to talk about it. I tell them of the boy that suddenly just came into the store, and the two looked at each other in bewilderment.
That's quite a strange thing to happen. Although it is not impossible considering the properties of Enchante's barrier.
Also, according to Miser's judgment, the boy seemed like he was a non-human. Oh, well now, one surprise after another, I see. Right. Though I don't know if it was by his power, but for a moment yesterday, the piping and everything had frozen over. We just looked at him, he seemed like a normal boy. That made me even more surprised. Take more water. After sharing the information I had, Mr. Rindo mutters behind the steam from his Americano. With all that said though, if the only time he's come by was yesterday, isn't it all just a simple coincidence? There have been plenty of coincidences like that over the years I've been coming here, so I've heard.
Right. It's not like you'd come to attack the cafe like the GPM has. I'm sure we can pay it no mind.
Hey, come on, I said I was sorry. It's true. Cadus is right. It's not like we have to get into a panic just because someone new came into the cafe. And, I mean, a cafe that panics over customers coming in already seems problematic. In fact, if another non-human regular starts coming to Enchante, that means I'll have even more work to do. Oh man.
Though it may be a good thing for Enchante, you shouldn't complain and get to work.
I am working hard though, okay? As a matter of fact, my department's been going crazy over Medio right now. What about Medio? Wait, was there some kind of problem because we all went to Medio? I nervously asked my question, but Mr. Rindo laughs and waves his hand, dismissing my concerns. No, it's nothing like people being in a panic or screaming about how the world's ending. Well, if it's anyone's fault, it's yours truly. Depending on who you ask, information on the fairy world Medio inside the GPM is scarce. It's considered an unusual world. Normally, written reports or testimonies by Canis would have been enough. I'm talking about the fairy videos I took. And sort of thinking they'd be good samples, I took a few fallen leaves and flowers. The R&D team is just eating it up. They want to hear everything and have been hounding me 24/7 to regale them. Seems like Mr. Rindo hadn't showed up here much after coming back from Medio. I suppose that's what's been going on. I see. Must have been something considering the work the GPM does. I might have even have to ask the residents of that world, Canis, to come in for questioning by them.
I decline. You basically said so yourself earlier, that you caused this all yourself. Also, I wouldn't be able to face Titania and the others if the GPM travels there so frequently, like they do at Vestia.
There was one word that hit me. Vestia? You mean Ignis's homeworld, right? What sort of connection do this world and Vestia have? Canis nods deeply as if acknowledging my question.
This is just what I heard from Ignis, but I hear the GPM has somehow gotten able to travel to Vestia directly. It seems that Ignis has seen humans traveling through Vestia numerous times.
Somehow able to travel? Wait, does the GPM also have a gate that goes to an alternate world like ours? Canis and I look towards Mr. Rindo. Ahaha, close. Though essentially correct, what we have down at headquarters isn't a gate. He pours some milk into his Americano and puts up 2 fingers. I think this was explained before, but there are 2 ways to travel to an alternate world. Alright, you're talking about gates and wormholes. I recall the conversation we had about homeworlds just before going to Medio. Just like the one in Enchante, there are several gates that connect to alternate worlds. And there are wormholes, distortion in space, that appear haphazardly. You can only travel in one direction through them, and they're incredibly unstable. If you happen to fall into one, it would be nothing but unfortunate. That's how it was explained to me. So then, the GPM headquarters has a wormhole? Right. Normally a wormhole would close after, at the longest, a few days. I can imagine what he was thinking. Our crazy genius found out how to stabilize them, opening and closing them at will. That's how we've been able to maintain a direct path to Vestia. We've been making great strides in research thanks to that. Oh wow! I didn't know that was possible.
Seems the GPM is not just a government institution just by name. These people seem quite capable.
Makes you wonder. Talented people can be found anywhere, can't they? Regardless of their personality. A crazy genius. Wonder what kind of person they are to be called something like that. Well, thank you. Now then, it's time for this old man to get back to the hellhole he calls work. Good luck!
Do not push yourself too hard. As you say, humans are frail.
Now that's weird. I'm glad you're worried, but I can't I can't help but feel like that's a jab at my age.
You're imagining things.
I take his payment, and Mr. Rindo begins to put on his suit. Oh, that's right, Kotone. Going back to what we were talking about. That non-human boy who came here, from what I've heard so far, it seems like he doesn't intend to do any harm. But just in case, I'll look through the GPM's database. Did he have any memorable features? Can you tell me anything you remember? His face, manner of speech is fine too. Features, huh. Try to think back to what I saw that day. Just by looking at him, he really did just look like an ordinary middle schooler. I mean, he didn't have fire or wings coming out of him, but yeah. with like the white hair, I guess he could dye it. Yeah, it's just like, the white hair makes him look a little bit otherworldly, but that's pretty much it. Maybe about 160 centimeters tall, and he had a slender build. As for features that stood out... Oh! One thing that stood out in particular, that boy had really beautiful white hair. That's right. He had shining, silken white hair that would stand out even if he was in the middle of town. And now he kind of reminds... Is he like an ice woman? But man? That's what... Because he made the room colder, right? He like froze the pipes. Is he supposed to be like some sort of ice woman?
White hair and can control ice.
The one who reacted to what I said was not Mr. Rindo, but Canis. Canis? I see. With that many features, I don't think it's gonna be difficult to find him. I like how accurate she was about like the centimeters. I can't tell someone's height by looking at them. I'm just like, taller than me or shorter than me. I'll report to you if I find anything.
Rindo, would you mind sharing the same report with me if you can?
Well, that's no problem, but is something bothering you about this?
Well, I just have a strange feeling. I would appreciate any information on it.
Got it. I'll get to it then. Late night before the next day. Oh, where are we? Looks like an office. The only one who works at an office would be Mr. Rindo. Yeah, it is Mr. Rindo. Well, I told them I'd try to investigate, but is it really necessary to ask me to get to work ASAP after giving my report? Complaining about the higher-up asking. For the impossible, Rindo Kaoru holds a cup of instant coffee in a room that, aside from him, was vacant. He was working overtime. Oh man, though I'm not Kotone, maybe I should report this guys to the Labor Bureau too. Coffee wasn't necessarily bad. I do miss the taste of Enchante though. But I suppose that this does come with a nice price. It's free. I can't be too picky given the situation. So let's see. The features of this mysterious boy were... I fingers brush against key after key I entered in the information. I'm accessing the database of confirmed non-humans in the human world. So essentially, an encyclopedia of people to watch out for. I don't feel great that I have to use this, though. Height, age, color of hair, then filter by abilities and related report dates, and here we go. Right after I press the enter key. Oh, a perfect match! I thought he'd be an unconfirmed non-human, but he's registered right here. His name is... Karia Abe, huh? Age 14, second year in middle school. His body is weak, so he misses school a lot. Let's see. Well, the reason why he's in here is... Rindo's face went stern at the text displayed on his computer. A changeling? Wait, what? Changeling? Is that those things that get, like, swapped out? They're like, it's like a baby. But, like a folk tale of, like, your baby gets swapped with, like, a different baby, and that baby's, like, a magic baby. I don't know what happens to the other baby, but probably not good. Changelings. A well-known part of folklore passed down from olden Europe. Well, good thing they're explaining it, because my memory's old and moldy here. A phenomenon where a human child that was just born would be taken away by a fairy on a whim and exchanged with a baby fairy. Okay, maybe that's why Canis was a little bit concerned about that description. Maybe he knows about him. Well, that's how the human world has come to recognize them. In that case, he might be related to Medio, this Karia Abe kid. Could this be related to why Canis was curious about him too? While in thought, I sip my instant coffee. Oh, who's that over there? Who are you? Our intelligence chief and the watcher over Enchante where non-humans mingle. Who is this kid? He has some sort of fox. It looks like he works here though, he has a badge. Why, it's Rindo, the one with the outrageously enviable job. Well, this guy was practically spelled out on his face. Rindo's poker face was usually very good, but it just fell apart here. This guy here in this place had the look that suggested he might have just broken out of jail. Or maybe a foster home. But no, he was Rindo's old friend, the chief of development. Looks like a kid. Akira Mikado. A colleague of Rindo and the head of the GPM development division. Despite his childlike appearance, he is a highly talented scientist. Is none other than the crazy genius. Okay, we get to see his eyes. Hey, look at that! Working overtime, huh? Oh, or did you find some juicy news over at Enchante, Ugh, I'm so envious, just so jealous. Here you are, given the promise that you can live this heavenly life surrounded by rare non-humans. But, not only that, you actually went to Medio at GPM first. Why did you keep that a secret from me, you brute? After receiving a barrage of words, a heavy fatigue fell over me. Listen, Mikado. I know I'm the only one here, but you can't just yell like that here in the workplace. And I told you before, if I take you, I'll lose even more trust from those non-humans. A crazy lab guy like you who takes blood samples when he says hello isn't a good look. You do understand that, don't you? That's why he's been banned. Dude, he needs to get the lab coat. Can you not get a lab coat that fits? That's dangerous. That's dangerous in chemistry lab. You can knock stuff over. Haha! I can't help if non-humans are just that interesting. More importantly, than your trust in my highly treasured brain. In other words, my scientific curiosity is obviously of much higher value. Ah, the fairy queen Titania. I so desperately wanted to meet her too. As your glasses fog up. I wanted to research her. Experiment. I'm sure she's such an amazing non-human who can't be described with words. Rindo praises his past self for not taking along this walking disaster of a freak who could barely keep his breathing in check. And also, because he knew that makes it sound like he's some sort of like okay. Because he knew that the reason this guy wanted to meet and research non-humans wasn't just because he was curious. Ah, gosh. You're just so mean, Rindo. Isn't that right, Ku? Ku? Ku-chan, a Fox Life stuffed toy that Akira Mikado always carries. Is that a toy? I thought it was like maybe technically a non-human he's carrying? Like a pet? Akira is tilting his head towards and talking to the stuffed animal on his shoulder. Rindo let out a sigh. Moments after, Rindo realized he was making a pretty nasty face. He decided to hold his tongue. So, Rindo, what brings you here after hours? Just needed some of that crappy coffee. Oh well, I was just looking something up. Well, let me see. Wait, hey, what are you doing? His body was small enough to slip by, and Akira swooped up the computer Rindo was using for his research. Oh, a changeling, huh? What fantastical types they are! They're also called ancestral relapsers. Oh, this specimen's impressive too. In what way? I mean, look, he's been alive for a while. Changelings' targets are usually at most 5 years. Wait, what? Is he supposed to not be alive? No, you didn't know this? Well, I guess even the intelligence chief doesn't know everything about non-humans. Mikado flutters his coat as he boasts. They're not supposed to live in the human world at all. They're mistakenly born here and grow up in the wrong world. Yeah, if I were to make an example, it's like a human being born in an atmosphere that's just plain toxic to breathe in. Oh man, yeah, I can definitely say that a specimen over 10 years is extremely rare. So, why were you looking him up? Can I catch him? Keep him as a subject? Okay, gotta keep this guy in check. During Mikado and his comment that strayed him further away from humanity, Rindo thinks seriously for a moment. Why would a fairy who's not supposed to live so long in the human world come to Enchante? Coincidence is one thing, but if it wasn't... What was the motive? Did he realize Canis, the fairy, was there? Or did his weakened body subconsciously gravitate toward any presence from Medio? It wasn't possible. But if that's the case, then there isn't much time. With a serious face on, Rindo begins to move. The next GPM mission was unfolding. Is this still Mr. Rindo? Still Mr. Rindo's perspective, I'm guessing, the next day. With the information that I unfortunately had to go to Mikado for, I quickly dove into action. Protection of friendly non-humans. If the GPM truly believes that that is one of its purposes, there's only one thing I could do. Under a rainy sky, pouring down like running tears. The hell? Why do I have to come with you? They're your errands. Sorry, I'll buy you some good cuts of meat later. It's a pretty sudden request. I guess I can't blame Ignis for complaining. Honestly, I would have rather spoken with Canis, as this is a Medio matter. Assumed you couldn't leave Medio due to some previous engagements.
Well, we're just guarding a kid, right? Might as well be a walk in the park.
I needed to fill in for Canis, so here we are. Ignis was good enough, especially if I needed him as support for a fight. Are we gonna fight him? I mean, I guess fire versus ice. I guess that's a good choice. We continue walking and search for the boy. I already contacted Kotone and told her about who Karia Abe really was, and the danger he was facing. I'm sure we can save the details about changelings later once we regroup with Canis. Although, I hope he listens and comes willingly. Where'd that kid go anyway? He wasn't at home, right? At the very least, we know it's not that he doesn't get along with his current family. Seems to be on good terms with them. But Karia himself seems to have a habit of wandering off alone, so he's usually just not home very often.
So you're saying that we have no clues?
No, I'm the intelligence chief, aren't I? We went to his house just to be sure, between witness reports and other sources. I'm thinking of a few spots where we might find him. At that, we arrive at a spot about 30 minutes away from Enchante. Well now, this is a pleasant little hiding spot. We arrived at the warehouse of an abandoned factory. There are stains of rust all over it, holes filled the walls and the roof. They were useless against the rain that was falling now. It was a pretty wide building and didn't feel cramped in the slightest. But thinking about a young kid spending time out here all alone, can't say it was making me feel great. Alright, I'll get inside and get to work.
Holler if you need me. I'll stand watch out here for anyone coming this way.
Thanks. Glad someone has some common sense. Just leave this to me for now. Okay, he didn't even trust his subordinates either, because he just like run in guns blazing. Ignis was somehow the better choice for this. I slowly opened the rusty door. I deliberately made my footsteps heard. There was a small shadow of a figure standing in the back. I began to speak. Oh. Right, there was a boy gripping his chest. He seemed in pain and was breathing heavily. Hey, can we talk? Who are you? Don't worry, I'm a friend. You don't need to be afraid. Oh, really? Says the creepy adult who tries to sweet-talk me in an abandoned warehouse. Seriously, everything about you reeks of some sick old man. Well, you make a good point. I accepted what it looked like. I took a minute to stand there and just talk. Listen, it's complicated, but I just want to talk to you for a bit. That's okay, Karia Abe. How do you know my name? Well, you came to that strange little shop yesterday, Enchante, right? I was just wondering if you could tell me why you stopped by there. It's difficult to say. Let me try. You were drawn to that cafe when you were falling ill for some weird reason. And when you were there, you felt a little bit better. Isn't that right? How did you know how I was feeling? The look of panic was colored clearly across the boy's face. Still gazing right at it. It's obvious. The reason you're in pain, and why you're so troubled about how you're different. I made sure I didn't sugarcoat it because he had to see the truth. It's because you aren't human. The temperature around us dropped suddenly. I could feel cold air begin to envelop me. I knew it. He does understand he has this ability. So what he really is... This might be a lot to take in, but I want you to listen to me. You're no ordinary human being, but a fairy. who's supposed to be born in another world. That's why you're able to control the ice. I really needed to calm him before he starts demonstrating his full power. It's okay. I'm your friend, along with the owner of that cafe. He's part of a special organization. She knows a lot about those who have powers, people like you. You don't have to worry. You've done a lot of research on fairies, so I'm sure we can... Research? Before I realized it, it was too late. At the sound of that word, the boy began glaring as if I attacked him. No. However, his rejection was at a far greater level than I expected. Research? You mean you're gonna lock me up and experiment on me again? With people laughing all around me like I'm some kind of specimen. Some animal. Just with that, I put together what kind of past he had been through. So, you're just the same. I can't trust a word you say to me. I know you've gone through a tragic experience. I can see that. And I can also understand why you don't trust me. But I can't give up on you. Even if you don't trust me, I'll always do everything I can to protect people like you. Ugh. Protect? Don't you mean to say capture? I meant what I said. I'm here to protect you. You need protection before you accidentally hurt anyone with that power. Yourself, most of all. And what if I refuse? I don't think he's coming peacefully. I figured it might come to this. Hey, I'm just here doing my job. What are you gonna do against me? Are you gonna use that power of yours? Yeah. It's the only thing that keeps me away from all sorts of bad people. Adults. They don't understand what they're doing until they get hurt. That may be true. Adults are probably worse at judging between good and bad than kids are. Yeah? Whatever. You just leave me alone. The warehouse was filled with water from the pouring rain. I jumped right before my feet would be frozen in the small bodies of water. However, damn, I wanted to talk to you since you'd die if I didn't. The reason why he's become so aggressive must be because he realizes that his life is draining away. Wait. Ugh, it's so cold. Should have worn something warmer. Tried to run as the ice froze the warehouse, then... Oh, okay. We're shooting ice. Small projectiles of ice were flying towards me, but I managed to cut them down with a knife. Ha! You're going all out, huh? A reckless kid is a scary one. But if a stranger came by talking about research and protection, I guess I'd expect a pretty intense response. So what do I do now? My mind was racing as I dodged his attacks. No. 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 If I'm caught again, I'll have to go through all that again. Finally. I was finally able to find a nice family. With his scream, the stacked wooden boxes crumbled, unable to handle the sudden change in temperature. The boy, probably losing his mind now, began screaming as if his life depended on it. Oh. Okay, changing scenery here. Changelings. This was not something born of mischief of fairies. It was found in folklore. It was when a fairy and human blood mixed, causing the chance for an ancestral relapse, giving fairy traits to a descendant. Okay, so it's not baby swapping in this context, in this world, but I guess, yeah, just like a halfling. And sometimes the halflings have power. Karia Abe was one of those beings. Unfortunately for him, his powers came shortly after he was born, and he was proven to be a non-human by those closest to him, even his biological parents. What happened next was a classic tragedy. Afraid of Karia, even though he was kin, they left him in solitude. He was completely neglected by his own parents. Seemed like there was no decent people in his life. He searched for help, but was persecuted and deceived instead. He ended up being sold into the darkest pits of society. There, he could have died at any moment. And there, his grandmother realized what happened. She came to save him from his living hell. Shortly after, though, she passed away. His relatives, that couple I'd gone to before coming here, were the ones who adopted and took Karia in. Even though they knew of his powers, they showed no fear nor pity to him. It was an honest love. It was pure. That's why. To have that all taken away. I can't let that happen. Yes, even if he died. Oh. All of a sudden, it was hard to breathe. Damn. The tiny amounts of water in the air must have begun to freeze. And not only that, I could feel his gaze on me. He must have been staring to see when I'd stop moving. Felt like the very blood in my body was beginning to freeze. I really didn't think he was this strong. I dropped to my knees, and right as I began to lose consciousness... Oh, hello. Hi! God, that's so loud! What's with all the snapping and cracking? I told you to holler at me! Ignis comes to turn on the heat. Like a comet, the demon beast of fire comes crashing down with a roar. He was adorned with fire, and the flames melted the ice all around the warehouse. Karia's body flinches at the sudden rising temperature within the warehouse. Nice timing! Duh. Ice's natural enemy is fire. It's a fact that even a child would know. As soon as I caught my breath, I ran to him. I catch Karia's frail body as it began to fall forward. Well, that should do it. I don't think he was injured. Oh, but Ignis, your flames might be a bit too much for the kid. Can you turn it down a bit? Turn off the fire, please. Yeah, I got it. Actually, he's not looking good with or without flames, don't you think? Yeah, you're definitely right. We don't have any time to waste. We don't really have the time to get his consent about this right now. My fingers shivering from the cold, I began to dial a number. It was Kotone's. Hey, Kotone, we got hold of the kid. Has Canis come back yet? Alright, good. Can you give a message to Canis? Tell him to be ready to open the gate to Medio. Okay, we're back here. Your Majesty, there is no mistake about it. I see. Must have been about an hour since the child was brought to Enchante. Mr. Rindo and I were led by Canis. Miser brought the boy soon after into the fairy world Medio. Because Ignis's flames are bad for the boy's body, he stayed at Enchante with ill. Normally, I wouldn't have found a reason to come here. But after seeing his painful expression, I couldn't just sit and wait at the cafe. It's been a while, Kotone. And you too, Rindo. Though I didn't imagine to be under these circumstances. I'm glad we can meet again. Isn't that right, Veneer? Oh no, not in the least, slightest, tiniest bit. In fact, this is just a dreadful mess you've dragged us into. Who wanted this? I hope you get cursed. Well, this place hasn't changed, this particular fairy's ruthlessness. With a chillingly painful expression, Veneer glares at us with narrowed eyes. How's Karia doing? By coming to Medio, it seems he's currently stabilizing. Though, I don't know what might happen if he returns to the human world for long. So this is a changeling. Changeling, also known as a replaced child. In European legends, this refers to an event where humans and fairy infants are swapped. But in this game, it refers to ancestral reversion, where a human inheriting fairy blood regains characteristics. I've read a bit about them in the books that Grandpa left behind. A concept rooting in changing one's ancestry. Mr. Rindo and Canis explained the concept to me, but it didn't register. I mean, ancestor reversion, when genetic traits from a distant ancestor manifest in a descendant, causing them to take on similar forms and abilities. He just looks like an ordinary boy. And he had such a terrible past. It's what we can expect from your kind. The human species is very exclusive. They're evil to those they can't understand. Hey, that's enough, Veneer. The child is more important now. If he cannot live in the human world, we must take him into his proper home world, here in the fairy world, Medio.
So, will he agree? He knows he's unusual, but for someone who believes himself to be a human...
That's impossible. Oh, he woke up? I turned around. Karia was sitting up from the pedestal, a pained look on his face. What the hell was all that just now? Fairies and alternate worlds? Are you all dumb or something? And you're all wearing costumes. You're all just a band of idiots, aren't ya? I assume he heard everything we were just talking about. With suspicious eyes, he glares towards Titania and the others.
This is all quite sudden. I know it's difficult to believe, but all the evidence is here.
Indeed. The strongest of which is how your body stabilized after coming to this world. Canis' hunch led to our investigation, and it seems that you truly are an ice fairy. One with much strength in particular. No. That's just... a fairy tale? And yet, your disbelief didn't stop you from letting this old guy have it. Denying it is a little childish now, don't you think?
Right. This is a fairly harsh way to put it, but let me tell it to you straight, young man. If you stay outside of the fairy world for long, you will die.
Nothing would pain me more than to see a young fairy end their life so sadly. So please, young man, we won't force you, but it would be best to live here in the fairy world, for your own safety. Karia could do nothing but remain silent. His expression looked pained. Oh. He's only 14, going to middle school, now he's like, hey boy, you're a fairy. Time to just take you away from your family. You can stay with us now. It's a lot to swallow. Unable to watch anymore, I spoke up. Well, I don't think we should push him to make a decision right away. This is a lot for him to take in at once, and given his particular situation, we have to give him some time to think. Mr. Rindo agrees with me and giving a single but affirming nod. Yeah, we've got to think of the parents too. His body's stable, now that he's been able to breathe in some Medio's air. Let's see how he does. We can wait a little, right, Karia? Karia, would you like to have some iced coffee? No. We returned to Enchante, and although we introduced ourselves again at a deeper level, his desire to speak shriveled into nothing. After seeing the other non-human customers, he finally acknowledged the other worlds. That's where he seemed to be, at least. Although I'm not sure he's able to accept the fact that he's also one of them. Mr. Rindo, the one who brought him in, turns to face him. So, Karia, what do you plan to do? Staying here and being cared for at Enchante is a possibility. After a sigh. If you want some more information about who you really are, you want to visit GPM headquarters with me? He gently proposes an idea. The GPM. Karia had already been given a rough idea what the GPM was. Why take him to the GPM, Mr. Rindo? The existence of alternate worlds varies in humans. He still doesn't have enough information to make a well-formed plan. Though it's possible to go to all these wonderful worlds and see them firsthand, he's been raised in modern Japan, and I feel like it'd be easier to understand evidence-based proof and data. After Mr. Rindo gave his reasoning, he then speaks to Karia. At the GPM, there are quite a few cases like yours. It could help you out. What do you think? Without arguing, Karia nods. Mr. Rindo then looks towards me. For now, you can leave the boy to me. Don't worry, I'll look after him. Alright, I'll let Miser and the others know. Oh, still going. This is gonna be a long chapter, I think. The next morning. It was about noon when all the regular members except Mr. Rindo had gathered together. I see, so that's what happened. That explains how he slipped by the barrier. It was made to be effective against humans. So, Karia's name, right? What did it say he'll do? I don't know. I'm sure he's in shock from having all these truths shoved at him all at once. I haven't gotten a call back from Mr. Rindo yet either. After I gave my explanation, the one who gave me the difficult truth, with their shoulders slumped while doing so, was Canis.
It is unfortunate, but that boy does not have time to wait and make a decision. Who knows how long the GPM might keep him? He could be in danger if he isn't careful.
No, he's still just in middle school. But it was true. He was clearly in pain as he walked away from Enchante as he left. Considering that, there aren't many options for him to consider. So ultimately, he has no choice but to go to Medio. I don't know why we are even still deliberating. If it were that easy, the kid wouldn't be that hesitant. Right? The decision would force him to throw away his life and start all over. So then, to him, perhaps it isn't any different from dying. Sounds like his parents now are really good people too. I'm certain he wouldn't want to separate from them. After Miser explains himself, sipping a cold coffee, Il nods, understanding the situation. But in the end, maybe this isn't something we should be butting into. As I muttered my thought, the sound of my ringtone resonated through the cafe. I took out my phone out of my pocket. Yes, hello? This is Awaki. Oh, Kotone, it's Rindo. Got a minute? Mr. Rindo, is something the matter? Yeah, it's about Karia. Thought I'd let you know. I contacted his parents. We decided to stay one more day at the GPM to examine him further. Hearing his voice over the phone, everyone got up from their seat and gathered around, wondering if something had happened. Oh, wait, Mr. Rindo. Everyone's here right now. Let me put you on speakerphone. 5 minutes later. So, he didn't accept it then? Well, we did show him all the evidence and data we have. It's not much he doesn't believe. It's not so much he doesn't believe it, it's just he's refusing to. Seems like he's going into a manic state. So, there's something I'd like to ask Kotone. Could you come to the GPM headquarters and have a chat with him? Everyone else is also surprised at the unexpected proposal. Huh? Me? Let's go to the headquarters where they try to shoot us. With the people that try to shoot us with guns. Totally not a trap, right? Right, I thought a lot about it. A normal person who interacts with and accepts non-humans is what we need. Since you're the perfect example of this, I was hoping you might be able to talk him through this. Of course I won't force you, but what do you think? Is that the right answer? Are you sure? I guess since I'm doing part of Canis' route, I'll just do are you sure for this choice. Are you sure I can do it? Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Talk about everyday life at Enchante. That's about as deep as it needs to be. Exactly. Talking about how you met us would leave some impact, don't you think? Haha. I just hope the impact I described doesn't make him feel doubtful. But I understand. If that's the case, I'll send you the address. Come by and bring Canis and whoever else you think should come, alright? Got it. By the way, how far is headquarters from here? If it's some far away or secluded area, getting there today might be difficult. It's actually pretty close. It's in Shinjuku. Oh, that is really close. And it's right in the middle of the city. Wasn't the GPM supposed to be an organization secret from most regular people? Hiding in plain sight. The Government Paranormalism Measures, or GPM, where Mr. Rindo is employed. Heard much about this organization so far. Including how it's an organization with a lot of history dating back to the Heian period. Before the war, its goal was to eliminate non-humans, but now it's a peaceful entity. Not from what we've seen. There's a branch in each prefecture of Japan, and they all report to the Shinjuku branch. But I didn't realize they were this big of an organization. Wow, this is a pretty big building. A classic technique. It's right under everyone's noses.
So, I know this is late to mention, but do you think Enchante will be alright with Elle in charge while we are gone?
We didn't have a choice. That guy can't read a room. You'd end up telling the kid to just go with his gut, which is what we don't need.
Yes, well yes, that is true, but...
He said he's playing a new Otome game. I don't think there's any real problem. just leave him be. It's like leaving a kid home with like, here's the tablet, just knock yourself out, just bye. We weren't getting anywhere by talking like this, so I mustered up my courage and stepped into the large building. Welcome to the GPM headquarters, patrons of Enchante. Wow, you guys are rolling deep. Now I guess you're still on your toes from that attack from way back when, huh? Oh no, that's not it. Canis is a fairy like Karia, and Miser has advice, considering how long he's lived. So, Ignis here is as insurance in case something happens to go south? Well, no matter. You're all welcome to be here. So before we get to the matter at hand, I'll give you a layout of the building. Yeah, if they try anything, I'm pretty sure Miser will just, like, bring the whole building to dust, so... so everyone be civil. This building, the GPM headquarters where Mr. Rindo is stationed, is a skyscraper with 27 floors above ground and 3 below. The floors are separated by department, like General Affairs, Intelligence, R&D, etc. And the lower floors house convenience stores, cafes, and restaurants. It's like a whole little city in there. We walked through the building, guided by Mr. Rindo as he talked about it to us. On several occasions, we passed by staffers walking by us and talking while they had held cups of coffee in their hands. Kind of an interesting layout, just like a courtyard in a skyscraper. Doesn't seem like the most efficient use of space, but alright. Huh. The more I see, the more it just feels like a little trendy office. Haha, we are the government after all. We care about the well-being of our workers, especially if there's danger involved. He's right. I could hardly handle the environment at my last job and ended up quitting because of it. Is this everyone's first time at the GPM? Yeah, it's different from what I imagined. I thought it'd be a little bit more shady. You know, more creepy. Well, if you go to any of the R&D department areas, it'll be as dubious as you expect. Robots, magic circles, even divinators. That said, we're not out there trying to fight and capture non-humans every day. Solve things peacefully is always preferably. Way less work, too. I bet. I think looking at everything here is changing my perception of the GPM. I've heard a lot about the GPM by now, and I've been intimidated by anyone from the GPM besides you, Mr. Rindo. Well, glad to hear it. It means calling you all here was worth it. A short while later, word traveled that Miser and the other non-humans were here and people started to notice us. Oh, here we are. Mr. Rindo stops in front of a single room and turns towards us. So, Karia's in here. Yeah. He was pretty down, too. We had an examiner come look at him, and he's taking a short rest now. Okay, then. I'm going to open the door. Are you ready, Kotone? Yes. Didn't know what sort of decision Karia will make in the end, but the time I spent with the customers from alternate worlds certainly wasn't a waste. With the normal abnormal getting together, forming friendships, I know I'd be able to show them that it's possible after sharing my experiences. With that thought, I nodded. You're late! You're so late, Rindo! Who's this? Okay, I'm kind of guessing who this is. The second of a genius's time is worth more than gold. Don't you know that expression? Well, never mind. It's one I just made up. A voice rang suddenly from the other side of the door. Ugh, that voice. It wasn't Karia's, was it? Who is that? Oh my, to not know who I am. How ignorant and pitiful you are. In that case, allow me to inform you. With a booming voice, the door flew open. And out came a very strange-looking person. It is you. He wore a white coat that seemed a few sizes too big, the fabric even flapping behind him. My name will be etched into history! Remember to burn it into your brain cells! He held a doll that looked like a fox. I am the leading researcher on the non-humans, the brains of the GPM, and the chief of research and development. With his creepy glasses. And what stood out most, he was tiny. A full head shorter than me. With a dazzling smile. I am the genius scientist, Akira Mikado. With all of his bravado, I couldn't see who was before us as more than a kid with a doll.
Rindo, what's wrong with the security here? It seems a child has wandered inside.
Well, I understand exactly what you are all feeling right now. But unfortunately, most of what this person is saying is true. Though I might not look it, Mikado here is actually an adult. Huh? You knew I didn't believe it from the way I looked at him. He shrugged his shoulders at us. It's the mark of a fool to judge someone based on their appearance. Only an average person would do that. It's what inside a person's brain that holds true value. Isn't that right, Koo? After he bends his head down to talk to his doll, he turns to us, or rather, to Miser. Now then, I know all about you folks. Rindo's given a lot of reports after all. The Demon Lord, the Headless Knight. Oh, your fallen angel doesn't appear to be with you today. Unfortunate. However, the both of you are tremendously interesting non-humans. Oh, please do tell me more about yourselves.
It would appear that he has completely glossed over Ignis just now.
Come to think of it, Ignis had been oddly quiet the past few moments. As I turned around with that on my mind, I saw him there with a disgruntled look on his face as if he swallowed something nasty. Ignis, do you know this person? Yeah, the JPM comes to Bestia sometimes to conduct research. I happened to come across him on one such occasion. Right, we encountered each other, and I became friends with this valuable specimen, strongest of the demon beasts. I'm not sure real friends would constantly ask for blood samples every time they came to see you. Miser couldn't help but smile awkwardly at Mikado's excitement. Well, how about we move things along? Our friend here has something serious to do behind that door. As we were trying to deal with the situation, Akira Mikado. Who's this? Another character. Who is this? How long are you going to keep trying to buy more time? I'm requesting that you provide proper timelines for things. I don't know what voice to give this guy. He has no characteristics. The new figure that appeared from the door grabbed Mikado's head with great force. Judging by his voice and height, he was a young man around Ignis's age, I think. But his appearance, with his face and entire body covered in a hood and a cloth, surprised me a bit. Oh, this is the new Haya, I think. Dude, who is... Never mind. Right, you're my aide, that's right. Ha ha ha. Fancy meeting you here, huh? Contradictory information. You're the one who told me to wait here, Akira Mikado. Huh. Oh man, another new face! Oh wait, this is Ignis. Huh? Oh man, another new face! Give me a break already! I know, right? Ignis is having a hard time with the voices now. Okay, his name is Mikado's assistant now. Don't worry. I'm no one important here. My job is to just be this thing's aide. And unlike this thing, I don't intend to use time recklessly. The man ruthlessly calling Mikado a thing began to hand Mr. Rindo paper after paper. I've collected all the information regarding Karia Abe. All you need to do is talk to him. As soon as he finished his work, the man immediately walked away. He's very pragmatic, isn't he? Huh, he really is a skillful aide. He was able to control you from your rampages. You picked up some good help, Mikado. Mikado's assistant, a young man who works at the assistant to the GPM's development division head, Mikado. He acts very indifferently, but shows excellent skills as an assistant. Alright. Huh? Oh, yeah! You're exactly right! except he doesn't work very well with others. Mr. Mikado quietly mumbles. I see. Maybe that's the reason why he hides his face. At a glance, he was scary and looked suspicious. But Mr. Rindo talked to him normally. If he's employed as part of an agency like the GPM, I'm sure he must be decent. Alright then. So how about we take a look at these and get back to work, huh? Yeah, I guess. Before we go in, I'll explain what you should know at the very least. Taking a few sheets from Mr. Rindo, Mikado began talking kind of awkwardly. With his permission, we performed various examinations on him. And sure enough, there are plenty of differences we found between him and a normal boy of his age. The most striking was his body temperature, far too low at 30 degrees Celsius, like someone experiencing hypothermia. 30 degrees? Can't imagine being so cold. Trying to convert Fahrenheit. American here. Trying to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius here. I know room temperature is like 25 degrees Celsius, but yeah. The lowest mine ever was 35. Aside from that, however, the results of his psychological examination show that he's definitely just a normal human being.
So his body is that of a non-human, and his mind of a human.
That's why this is difficult to deal with as the GPM. He's only a victim of ancestral relapse. It's no mistake he's had human parents, so it doesn't feel right to call him a non-human. Leaving that comment with us, Mr. Rindo stands at the door where Karia waited. That's enough for the briefing. Now how about we go talk to him? Alright. Nodding and readying myself yet again, I wait behind Mr. Rindo. However, wait a moment. Before you go in there, I need to talk to you about something. For some reason, Mikado placed his hand on Mr. Rindo's arm, stopping him. Mikado? What lies beyond this door is a situation that's more than you can imagine. So before you enter, I need you to promise me a few things. You're pretty serious about this, huh? So what are those promises? Looking over all of us in bated breath, Mikado slowly puts together his thoughts. First, don't panic. No matter what you see, whatever you do, remain calm. Akira, what were you doing in there? Okay. Hold back your emotions as much as possible. Losing your composure might cause mistakes. Right? And, most importantly, don't get mad. Especially at me. Don't get mad at me. Huh? Alright. So how about this young boy, Karia Abe? While I wasn't looking, he ran away. Ha 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 ha! Oh. Wait a minute. That 8 earlier mentioned something about buying more time. Okay, they just punch him. Are we still going? We gotta find him now, I'm guessing. Oh no. The dark night dimmed even the moon, the only light that came from the lanterns on the street. The sun had long left the sky, and the moon had taken its place. Karia Abe wandered listlessly through the dark streets like a ghost. What the hell? What the hell is all this? Fairies and alternate worlds. He went there! Seems like going to the GPM just made it worse. All this is fantasy stuff. No one could believe that. Who could believe it? But no matter how much he denied it, his body had experienced it. That horrendous feeling of his consciousness and life melting away. The fairy world Medio. And how for a moment he was free from it all after breathing the air from that place. Damn it. grasping onto a tree by the road in hopes of calming his anger down. A cold air fell over his grip and the trunk began to frost over. Ugh. I did it again. Seeing how much of a human he clearly wasn't, Karia jerked his hand away. No, it's not true. I am human. I was freed from that hell. Mom and Dad accepted me as their child. As a human. Karia Abe. However, if it were all true at this rate, he would die before his own parents. I don't want to die, but I don't want to let go of my family. Why? Why can't I have both? What am I supposed to do? The more he cried, the more the area around him turned into a world covered with ice from his freezing breath. Oh, okay. This is Kotone. Going back to Kotone now. After realizing Karia had disappeared from the GPM headquarters, we all split up and went around searching for him. Mikado and the other GPM staff searched inside the headquarters buildings. Whoops. Miser contacted Il and both began search using their powers. Canis and Ignis went to Shinjuku. And on a hunch, Mr. Rindo and I came back to this town. Sorry, just gonna drink some more water. He was worried the most about his family, so I thought he'd be around his home, but maybe I was wrong. Still, I can't think of anywhere else Karia would be. Oh. Hello? Oh good, you picked up. Rindo, Kotone, where are you right now? Can you give me your location? Yeah. Il's voice was as calm as ever. I immediately turned the phone to speaker mode so Mr. Rindo could hear him as well. I then sent him our GPS location. And then... You're in a very convenient spot. Just earlier, I had searched the area around Enchante. And nearby, where Rindo ran into Karia, I noticed a strange decrease in temperature. A decrease in temperature? Could that be... Karia. Not only was the warehouse affected, but it altered the surrounding area as well. Yes, I assumed that. His fairy powers are out of control. That being said, I can get to him right away and bring him in. There's no need to worry now. Mr. Rindo crosses his arms and thinks over Il's suggestion. His voice changed a little as it seemed he had come to make a decision. No, Il. You contact Misa and keep watch from the air until you get further directions. If possible, it'd be a lot of help if you could stop it from spreading using some kind of barrier or something. I'm going to face him. Why is that? It's most certainly safer for me to go. You're only a human. Okay, this is how I see it. He's still a human too. Half of him anyway. He still hasn't given up on being human. So, as an adult human, I want to be there to guide him. Yeah, I think he might freak out if an angel just abducts him. Mr. Rindo! Oops. Say, please be careful. Please be careful? If something happens to you, like when you met Karia the first time... Thanks for worrying about me, but I'll be fine. I've been through a lot worse in the past. It was a really hard call, but in the end I noticed Mr. Rindo in agreement with his idea. Or I nodded to Mr. Rindo. Il, if something happens, I'm gonna ask you and everyone for help. For right now, I hope you can get behind Mr. Rindo and his point of view. Well, I suppose that would be just fine. I shall contact Miser and the others about this so they know. After hanging up, I looked at Mr. Rindo. Mr. Rindo, let's go. Yep, it's about time to give that little punk a lecture about staying out too late. Do we not have Ignis this time? The weather was quick to change and raindrops began to fall from the sky. Mr. Rindo and I ran through the rain and quickly reached the old abandoned factory. And there we found him. This is like his probably a safe place where he can be alone. It wasn't a feeling, it was real. A terrifyingly cold chill ran across my skin. As if protected by the white, freezing air that hung over the warehouse. This child froze everything around him with each breath he took. Karia! I could see it in his eyes. The composure that I had seen yesterday was no longer there. Thinking about fairies, what he should believe in, and being afraid of his past. I'm sure he was blind to any of those thoughts right now. Even before we had met him, I'm sure he was already growing unstable. He must have reached his limit. It's because he was mentally exhausted that all of this had happened. Perhaps. Changing a life around like this isn't something a boy his age usually deals with. Determined, Mr. Rindo softly continues. But no matter how much he refuses, he's going to have to first accept the challenge. He's going to have to take that first step. If he doesn't, this all ends here. Beyond that is too sad to think about. So, that's why I have to talk to him, as a fellow human being. And as someone who's older, me being a person with his own regrets and failures. Mr. Rindo! Kotone, you wait here. He doesn't seem to be on the offensive, so you'll be fine if you don't approach him. Mr. Rindo continued, his breath white from the cold as he smiled. After we're all done with the show here, I'd like to ask you to pour him a nice cup of coffee. Of course. Enchante is always there to treat his guests to a delicious coffee and a nice place to rest. Well said. Wouldn't expect less from Enchante's owner. Smiling, even though he was worried about me, Mr. Rindo turned towards Karia. Now then. Okay, bringing out the gun is not the right choice. And the knife. In this intense cold, he took off a layer under which he was hiding something. He held up a weapon, and then... There we go. Oh, he's getting rid of it. Okay. He's unarmed. Doesn't look dangerous. Didn't have to brandish it at the kid, but okay. He threw it to the ground without hesitation. Huh? Surprised by this action, Karia's eyes were obviously shocked. I scared you last time. I'm apologizing for that. But also, no one needs a weapon just to talk. Mr. Rindo walks forward. He advanced towards Karia, defenseless, as ice kept spreading everywhere. Don't come any closer. Okay, we're throwing ice now. Oh, okay. Ice flies by and grazes Mr. Rindo's face. But he doesn't try to dodge them. He just continues walking straight, directly towards Karia. But it was eventually too much. Okay. He's down. Coughing, he fell to his knees as he was about to lose consciousness. Do we have backup? Medic? Mr. Rindo! I called to him without thinking. He woke. Whoa, that was close. You know that cliche about dying if you fall asleep in the cold? That was about to be me. Under the biting frost, he forces his frozen face into a smile. That was actually nice. I can hear her voice just fine, even here. I'm awake now, thanks to that. Okay? Are you okay? Mr. Rindo finally reached Karia and stood there right before his eyes. He's being a very patient man. More patient than most cops. Although, he did nothing but stand there, staring right into Karia's face. Unable to withstand the pressure. It was Karia! Oh no! Blasting white frost everywhere. Fresh blood splatters the surroundings. The arm Karia put up to protect himself went limp. Mr. Rindo! Mr. Rindo grunted with sharp blades of ice thrusted into his body. Ow? Blood spilling from him left swirled marks of blood spilling from him left swirled marks on the ice. I'm sure you've never gone this far, right? Oh no! The regret! No. I just... I wasn't... After Mr. Rindo struggled to speak, Karia crouched down on impulse. Trying to shake off the reality of the situation, he began to shake his head too. He's only 14! He doesn't know what's going on! Karia Abe! His shout echoed through the building. Eek! Don't run, look at me. This is one part of your fate. Worse could happen if you don't think about your future. Look what your power can do. Your life being in danger, or where you have to live. None of that matters right now. Take a look at yourself, at who you are. If you don't, you'll just keep repeating this pattern. Next time, to someone important to you. Karia gulped down in shock. This isn't me. Mom, Dad, I'm someone who can hurt them. Yeah, that's true. If you keep running like this, something bad could happen before you realize it. There'd be nothing you can do then. You love your parents, right? They know about your powers and they still accept you anyway, right? Then, all it takes is a little faith. Faith that their son, the one they love, won't change no matter what. Tears streamed from Karia's eyes. The drops hit the ground silently. I'm sorry. All the ice around us started to break. At the same time, the shards of ice that pierced Mr. Rindo broke apart as well. His body fell to the ground. Mr. Rindo! I ran over to him and held him up, but that didn't change the fact that he had serious injuries. This is my fault. Karia knelt beside me and looked like there was still a terror lingering within him. Then, with his face all twisted, clearly showing the severity of his injuries, Mr. Rindo forces him to smile. Ha ha ha! You don't have to cry. You can think about this later. But right now, you used a lot of your power again. We need to get you to Medio, fast. I can't. I'm at my limit. Sorry, Kotone. I'm gonna leave this up to you. I'm gonna take a little nappy nap now. Mr. Rindo, no. Hey! Mr. Rindo! Right as Mr. Rindo had completely lost consciousness. Hi, guys. Finally here.
Well, although he's usually so carefree, I guess Rindo can be stubborn too, huh? He cares about that kid a lot. I'm sure he wanted to handle it on his own. Miser! Ignis! What do I do? Mr. Rindo, he... Oh yeah, don't worry. We'll save him. Let's get to Enchante right away. Il and Canis can take care of any injuries. Well, it might be better off for Rindo to go to a human hospital, but it'll suck if someone asks how he got hurt. Gotta get the police involved. Is he gonna be okay? Is he not gonna die? Stop looking so worried, kid. If he died from this, he wouldn't be able to come bug us at Enchante anymore. And she's like, Ignis would be like, good. Ignis effortlessly lifted up Mr. Rindo's body, and we hurried back to the cafe. Just walking through the street with like an unconscious bloody man. Nothing to see here. The rain that was drenching the streets had stopped, and the droplets of water on the windows began to thin. After Mr. Rindo was carried up to one of the empty rooms on the second floor, Il began to use his powers to heal him. Although he lost a lot of blood, his wounds fortunately weren't as deep as I thought. I'm sure he's resting soundly in his bed right now. Meanwhile, as Karia sat there quietly in the store. Do you want something to drink? You didn't get to finish your drink the last time you were here after all. You're not afraid? Huh? Being here with me, this doesn't scare you? What I did just a little while ago, I know you saw it too. Karia was shaking as he asked me that. He was terrified at the answer he thought I was going to give him. Before I answer that, I'd like to ask you to do something. What is it? Try drinking my coffee. Is it bad? Hopefully it's good. It's not one of Kotone's bad attempts, right? I poured coffee, extracted from the dark roast beans, into a glass with ice in it. Made sure to be quick, as the flavor would dissipate if it cooled too slowly. I needed it to be on the thick side too, otherwise the flavors would get dull. Here you go. I handed the iced coffee to Karia, who looked at me with a suspicious face. It just looks like a regular coffee. Just try a sip. I watch quietly as the young boy hesitantly brings the cup to his mouth. How does it taste? Average. Here, I was hoping you'd love it. I still got a lot to learn. But this is what the Demon Lord and the guy in the armor drink, right? I thought it would taste really weird, or have some kind of weird effect to it. Haha. No, nothing like that at all. This place is just a regular cafe. The look of bewilderment on his face, I smile softly and continue. Miser, Canis, Il, Ignis, and Mr. Rindo. All the coffee I served them is from this completely ordinary human world. But everyone loves drinking it. They all have their preferences. Brought the coffee I poured to my mouth, the same beans as the one Karia drinks. But these were a light roast. It had a fairly light flavor to them. It's a pretty rough example, but I feel like the difference between humans and non-humans are like coffee beans. Roast, water temperature, brewing method. The taste can change depending on all that, but the beans all come from the same place. Is this your roundabout way of cheering me up and saying that I'm human too? No. Tilt my head to the side and speak again. You're a non-human. Regardless of who you are mentally. Physically, there's no denying it. But you know, in terms of being a guest here and drinking coffee, to me, Mr. Rindo's the same as everyone else. I waved my hand though, gesturing that I know I can't explain it very well. If you drink my coffee happily, it doesn't really matter who you are. It just makes me happy that you're here.
So, Karia Abe, personal guest of my shop. I want to say, thanks for drinking my coffee. I'd love it if you came to visit again. Mr. Rindo said so too, remember? Believe in yourself like your parents do. You can be confident that I'm here to help. As the owner of Enchante, you'll always be treated as a guest of this house. Regardless of how you see yourself or what path you choose, Enchante will always welcome you to come and drink a cup of coffee. You know, you're crazy. Comparing non-humans with coffee. I guess I've gotten used to them. After a short silence, but in the end, I only have one choice left to me. Harry looked down. He managed to squeeze out the words that were bitter to him as the coffee he tried. I've been hiding it from my parents, but now it's getting hard for me to breathe, even after just being outside for a bit. It hurts. I can't think. And suddenly my powers start acting up. If this keeps up, I might end up killing someone else. They'll get hurt, like Rindo. Hey, you can't just kill me off like that. A voice cuts Karia off. Surprised, I looked towards the sound, and there stood Mr. Rindo, wearing his signature smile. This old man's still got a lot of things keeping him here in this world. I won't tie off that easily. Like, oh yeah, I haven't seen the last episode of that show with the tigers and that king guy or whatever. Wait, what, Tiger King? Was that really... God, yeah, that did happen a few years ago. Mr. Rindo, you should still be resting. No worries there. Ill's healing despite him not paying much attention to it, managed to fix up my wounds. Winking at me, he sits down next to Karia. Karia's shoulders seem to flinch. I'm sorry. Because of me, you... Didn't you hear what I just said? My wounds are fine, no foul. Yep, just a scratch. Definitely nothing I need to go report to the GPM. Tis merely a flesh wound. Understanding what Mr. Rindo meant, Karia's eyes opened wide. Mr. Rindo responds in turn. Oh, whoops. Okay. Sorry, I feel like I'm bashing. I just mash the A button really fast. So, Karia, what do you intend to do? What do you mean? Wait a minute. Can't say that you only have one choice. I told you, didn't I? To believe in yourself. To support the people you believe in. That's the job for adults like me. The honor here and the regulars, too. They'll all be here for you. Even with all that, are you too afraid to say what you want? Karia squeezes his hand into a fist and then... I don't want to be away from my parents. I want to be with them, and I don't want to die. But I'm more scared of hurting Mom and Dad with this power. I can't choose either one. I know it's not a straight answer, but that's what I choose. With a wavering voice, without enveloping himself in ice. Finally, as a normal middle school boy, he let out his true feelings. So that's your answer, huh? In that case, I should uphold my promise to support the path that you choose. Huh? Your body's non-human, but you're as human as they come. Like Miza said, you're half and half. Very rare situation, however. This place, Enchante, is half and half, just like you. What do you mean? Mr. Rindo glances at me and I nod. Karia, I was talking with Mr. Rindo in the room earlier, but Do you want to help out here at the cafe? It's underage labor. What? You're gonna hire a kid? That's child labor. This is Ignis. Why are we on the same page here? I use this opportunity when everyone is here, handling cleanup from the incident and nursing Mr. Rindo's wounds, to discuss the matter. I see. By working at Enchante, he can also make regular visits to the fairy world. Not only that, according to Mikado, coming into contact with fairy world could slowly improve Karia's condition. It may take time, but if all goes well, he might be able to actually go to school at some point. Huh. However, it doesn't address the core issue, does it? If he's away from Enchante for an extended time, won't his life be back in danger? That would not be much different than postponing the need for a final resolution. However... Yeah, I'm suggesting this because of what Karia decided just now. I just want to prioritize what he wants. That's alright. He has every right to having a postponement. Of course, he'll eventually have to decide on a path where he can live on his own. It'll be another big decision to make. With a gesture from Mr. Rindo, Karia agrees with a nod. Finally get a definition for Karia Habe. He has a human mind due to changeling, a young man raised with the body of a fairy. At Rindo's persuasion to determine his own future, he came to Enchante as a temporary help. Well, just so I have a preference for things, like how I see myself, how to live as a non-human, and my powers. I'd like to see what life is like here at Enchante and learn from it. That's not bad. There's probably no place more perfect than this for this being so close to other non-humans. Ignis, are you okay with this? Why are you asking me for permission? I mean, I was surprised. But you call the shots now. It's your show. Do what you want. Ignis waved my question away, but it seemed to be in agreement along with everyone else. Thank you. Come on, Karia. Alright, let's greet everyone. You'll be a member of Enchante now, so proper introductions are in order, alright? Alright. I'm Karia Abe, 14 years old, and in middle school. About non-humans, I still don't really know much about them, but it's nice to meet you all. Yep, nice to meet you too! I'm the Demon Lord Miser. Feel free to ask anything you want.
I am from Medio, a headless knight, some know as a Doulahan. My name is Canis Espada.
Doulahan? Headless? Isn't that met Canis yet? Yeah, he saw Canis. Whoa. You don't have a head. Wait, you just noticed that now? Well, he had a head when we were in Medio, and he had armor on. Oh, that's right. Well, you'll get used to it. I just kinda got used to it too. Can you really get used to that? Once Karia's introductions and greetings were over, Il looked over to Mr. Rindo. Still, you really did push yourself, Rindo. Your wounds are still healing, yes? What? Is that true? Yes, I'm still not great at healing magic. My powers are as good as basic first aid. Didn't Mr. Rindo say that his wounds had closed up? I glanced over at Mr. Rindo, who smiled to dismiss the matter. You know, we trained for this sort of thing, and thanks to also our owner cheering me on, I felt her love and I'm totally better now. Really? Miser's eyebrow peaked and slowly began to stand up. I'm gonna poke him. And with casual movements, he gets behind Mr. Rindo and... Take that! He gently pokes his rib with his fingers. Mr. Rindo, are you okay? That's not nice, Miser. That's not even. That's just like, yeah, that's not, just definitely not nice. I'm fine. I'm fine. Miser, I'm gonna get you back for that. Sorry, I just had to. I accept your offer as soon as you heal.
So he was just enduring the pain. You are sweating quite profusely.
Hey, Kotone, get the old geezer to bed before his half-dead ass is, like, full dead. Alright. Hey, let me help too.
No, leave this matter to her, Karia. I'd like you to sit and talk with us non-humans for a while.
Step by step, trying to reduce the impact on his body from each step, we carefully go up the stairs. I put Mr. Rindo's arm over my shoulder and support him the best I can. Oh. Ow. I knew it. You're pushing yourself, huh? I sigh at Mr. Rindo's trying to laugh off the matter. You must have been enduring the intense pain the whole time we were talking to Karia. How many times do I have to tell you this, old man? You should have said something. You could have at least given me a little alert that you're planning on working yourself hard enough to get injured. Haha. Didn't think I'd get lectured by you after lecturing Karia. You probably won't respect me anymore, huh? Mr. Rindo murmurs jokingly, but I suppose I should be relieved enough that he's still able to joke around at all. As I felt some relief within myself. Kotone. Yes? About Karia. Do you think he's going to be okay? I'm not sure. It's up to Karia now. But at the very least, I think he's found the courage to honestly look at himself thanks to you. Rindo shouting in that moment, he reached him when no one else could. I see. I just hope this wasn't all out of some kind of need I had. Huh? Without knowing anything about them, he set foot in an alternate world. I thought about how that could really mess with his mind and his life. I just think about how I'd regret it if I didn't stop him back then. That was the one thing I didn't want. Haha. I'm just a terrible old nut, only concerned with himself in the end. Mr. Rindo seemed somewhat lonely, mumbling and chastising himself. Mr. Rindo? Did something happen in the past? Between you and non-humans? What makes you think that? I just had a feeling you didn't seem worried about the future. As much as you were feeling regret. That's how I heard it anyway. Adding that I wouldn't pry any further, Mr. Rindo thanks me and smiles. I do have regrets towards myself who walked through this world without any cares at all. Oh, don't worry though. I do think non-humans can be dangerous, but it's not like I hate them or anything. It's just, sometimes I can't help but think that I could be on a different path right now. After talking the way I did earlier, I'm not even sure about the path I chose for myself. So, considering he still has a choice, I don't want Karia to have those kinds of regrets. After murmuring his explanation, Karia Rindo too, when it comes to non-humans, he gives unsparing warnings to help put his mind at rest, but it seems that his attitude has come from past regrets. Okay, interesting, they have a definition for that. He promises to rest and lay on the bed in the guest room for the day. The tumultuous events surrounding the newest face at Enchante quietly came to an end. Are we done? Chapter 6. Oh my god, that was a long chapter. I'm exhausted. I'm guessing this next one is going to be about Ignis. Oh boy. Okay, yeah. I need a break. It looks like we're going to be going into Ignis's perspective next time. But yeah, that'll be for next time. Alright, I hope you guys had a relaxing time. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.